Want to quit your job and start wholesaling real estate full time? What is up, guys? Zach in here.
Rick in here.
And in today's video, we're really going to break down how you can start wholesaling real estate part-time, start getting some deals, and transition into full-time wholesaling real estate. Because I truly believe you can quit your job this year. This is the year you can do it and start getting into real estate wholesaling and start doing that in a full-time so you can really scale up your business and get the life of your dreams. But really what we're going to do today is really give you a step-by-step action plan on how many leads you really need, how many deals you have to do, and most importantly, how you can transition from part-time to full-time in wholesaling real estate.
So listen, I get it. You have the desire, the want to really do real estate full-time, and that's great. So working with me and Zach and freewholesaling.com is a great way to jumpstart it. So what you have to do is basically start out with a goal. Without a goal, you don't have a roadmap to get anywhere. So everyone's like, hey, how much should I start out? What's the minimum? I'm going to give you like a bare number minimum. And this is just to get you started. It's $100,000. You're like, wait, Rick, that's a lot of money. I'm just telling you, it's not nearly as much as you think it. Your goal is to shatter that and just destroy it. But even if you hit 80 or 90 grand, you're going to be in a much better place. So number one is you have to set a goal, because without a goal, you don't have a destination to arrive to, and you're just going to wander aimlessly. The second part of the equation, and guys, I did this personally. Like, I have lived this mantra, like I'm telling you from memory, is a lot of you are in a position where you just can't jump ship. So if you have a full-time job and you have obligations, especially if you have a family and a mortgage and stuff like that, just come up with a plan and get excited. So you set a goal. And number two is just don't cold turkey, just jump ship. You need time to transition into it. It does take some time. Everyone's got a different learning capacity, but by some people go, hey, burn the ships immediately. I'm here to tell you, you can transition out of it. So you want to work through it. And then you set your goals. Once I hit $100,000, then I'm going to walk in and I'm going to fire my boss. And that's kind of how I did it. It took me about 5 or 6 months to get to that number, but it was a feeling of euphoria, because what happens is that what your goal is try to get where your job is hindering you from wholesaling and you're making significantly more money in wholesaling. That's when you want to jump ship.
That's the honest truth, because I think so many people, they want to jump the ship, right? And we're not here to tell you go reckless, right? Like, if you have kids, you got to put a roof over their head, feed them. Like, don't go against a safe job right now and just like go full in, right? There's people that do it and people that change their lives doing it, but we don't want to tell you to go do something reckless if you're not already proven to get into wholesaling, right? We're kind of different, right? Because like you had a full-time job and then you got into wholesaling part-time, then full-time. I was doing a bag boy, so it doesn't really count, because I mean, one deal I made 3 years worth of money. But like, guys, like we worked jobs and then we kind of went wholesaling part-time into wholesaling real estate full-time, and it changed it. But yeah, guys, the goal for every wholesaler is to make your first 100,000, right? And then consistently get to that every year, and then hopefully get to 1 million, right? Like, very bare bones, that is the goal. So really what we're going to break down is kind of when should you go full-time, right? Like, when should you quit your job? And then we're going to break down on how to quit your job, right? Like, what are the type of leads you have to be going after and how to do it? Honestly, what I have found is if you can wholesale real estate 20 hours a week, right? And you can really mix that whatever you want, 4 hours a day for 5 days a week, go crazy, 8-hour days on the weekends, and then find some time in between, after or before work, right? But really wholesaling real estate part-time, I would say about 15, 20 hours. If you are able in those 15 to 20 hours to make 50% of your income on your regular W-2 job, then I think it's time to start going wholesaling real estate full-time, because then you're doubling your effort, which should theoretically double your income, which will actually make your income the same wholesaling than it is in your regular job. And then eventually scale it up a little more. You get better at it. You should triple the amount of income you're working at your regular job, right? And that's honestly what I have found. If you're not able to hit 50% of your W-2 income through wholesaling, probably not time to jump ship. Like, how many deals did you have to do before you were making 50% of your W-2?
So for me personally, it was the 6 or 7 deal mark, because my first few deals were around 10 grand. And once I got around the 4th deal, I started doing the 20 and 30s. And then it was just a simple math problem for me there. Like, once I get to a certain level, then it was going to be a no-brainer. Remember that the goal is to have the point where you have to fire yourself from your own job because you can't afford to keep it anymore. And for those you go, well, Rick, that's 40 hours and 20 hours. Guys, 40-hour work week, is not as much as you think it is. The most people are only working 2 to 3 hours a day. Remember, it's a new adventure. It's like exciting. So you should be excited about the change. So doing the 40 plus the 20 is no big deal.
No, it's really not. And once you're able to get that, you can easily just replace your full-time income and then just multiply it from there. So that's the easy thing to say, right? Like, that's everything everybody knows, right?
Yeah.
But the main question is, Zach, Rick, how do I hit that? How do I hit that 50% of my income? We're only working 50, 20 hours, right? And there's people on here that their full-time job is making 300-400 grand a year and they got to hit 200K.
Yep.
And then there's guys and gals out here that are making 40, 30,000 that really, that's not too many deals you have to do. So it's a lot easier for you actually to do that, where the risk factor is a lot less, right? So let's sort of break this all down. So the goal to hit it is, I say this so many times, right? We both say this all the time, but it's consistency, right? And before you scroll out of this video, like, here goes Zach again ranting about consistency. Just create a schedule and stick with it. I promise you right now, if you create a schedule in your wholesaling real estate and you stick to it, you'll get so much better in your wholesaling real estate business. I found so many wholesalers, once they create a consistent schedule and stick with it, they're going to get deals, because once you have that schedule, you don't really have an excuse not to meet that schedule, right? So like if you're going to work out, if you create a workout schedule, you are most likely to spend more days in the gym than if you're not. Because if you do it whenever you feel like it, maybe when you don't feel like it, you don't do it. And then it comes to like a downward spiral, right? Same thing with your wholesaling real estate. Guys, there's plenty of times at the gym where I do not want to be at the gym. I'd rather be fishing. I'd rather be going out here and just watching Netflix or playing video games, but it's part of my schedule and I do it, right? Like no ifs, ands, or buts. Discipline, right? And you guys have to do that. It's gonna be a lot of days, especially starting out. You don't want to drive for dollars. You don't want to cold call. You don't want to do these things. But if you want to hit that end goal of quitting your job and wholesaling real estate full time, you're gonna have to create a consistent schedule. And to create that consistent schedule, you're gonna have to get consistent leads. So let's kind of break down how many leads you really need to get some deals. So if you really look at doing 5 deals, right, that's going to be about $50,000. That's half of the 100K, right? You really got to think of like how many leads you have to pull, right? So you think of drawing for dollars, right? On average, it's going to take around 500 leads to get one drawing for dollars deal, one $10,000 deal. So if you multiply 500 by 5, that's about 2,500. So if you want to make 50 grand, it's most likely going to take you at, let's kind of do the worst case scenario, 2,500 drawing for dollars leads or 2,500 reverse drawing for dollars leads. So if you really break down the numbers here, that's about 100 drawing for dollars leads every single week for 25 weeks straight, and calling them, skip tracing, all that stuff. And that's how you can get to 5 deals if you really want to quantify it, right?
We're going to talk about the next favorite skill set we do in getting leads is using your government list. And you guys know exactly how to do this. You go over to freewholesaling.com. We go into detail on it. Let's talk about the numbers. So we have to start with the list. So you want to get a government list. It can be a combo of any of them. And you want to get 1,000 people on that list. From that 1,000 people, then you're going to wither it down to the people you actually contact and you're able to communicate with. So that's going to wither down to around 250 leads for you to get like one deal. So it's important you understand we go from 1,000, we will it down to 250, and 250 should get you one deal. So now you just got to do a simple math problem with this thing. So you're going to have to get a total of 5,000 government lists. Then you're going to break it down from the contact rate, and that will break you down to a total of 5 deals. Remember, guys, this is just the bare minimum. And these lists are tax delinquencies, evictions, divorce, pre-foreclosures, probates, water shutoffs, fire damage. The list goes on and on.
So again, you kind of look at this, right? 5,000 government list. That seems like a lot, but that's not 5,000 contacts, right? Like a contact is different than natural lead, right? So on average, you might be at a 25% contact rate if you're not reverse drawing for dollars. So really, if I contact 100 government lists, let's say 100 code violations, I'm most likely on cold calling going to reach 4th of them, right? So that means if I'm doing 1,000 government leads to get a deal, government lists, that means I have to get 250 hellos. So that means you multiply that by 4 or 5, you're really going to be closer to 1,200, 1,300 contacts to get 5 deals, which honestly is not that bad because you just do this consistently for a year. It's really easy for you to get. And then really come to the next one here. What if you use like a paid list, right? So we might not have that much time, right? So these are lists you get at listrei.com, aka PropStream. Go to zachdata.com, aka batch leads, even dmzac.com if you want to use Deal Machine. But like you can use a paid list to pull this stuff. And on average, it's going to take about maybe 2,500 of those leads to get one deal. Guys, these are the high equity, the vacants. Really, you could pull pre-foreclosures if you really want to, the zombie properties list, the tired landlord list. You use the filters we do have at freewholesaling.com and how to pull these the right way. Guys, using a PropStream or batch leads will help the whole process easier. Like there's no secret. Like you pay more money, it's going to get easier. It's not going to do everything for you. It is just a tool.
So let's talk about those of you that are like super busy in a job, like you're in a job that takes up a lot of your time, and then maybe you get home, you got to deal with the kids and the pets and all that other fun stuff. So let's talk about ways we can go hunting while you're still doing these jobs without completely using up all your time. And so the first and foremost is you need about efficiency. So the easiest thing, one of the easiest ways to do is just take your FSBOs, your for sale by owners, use Zillow. They have the phone number on there that people want to sell it. It is a little bit of a numbers game, but you can get through it. You don't have to get in your car, and then you control your time and how you're going to do that.
There's no skip tracing, right?
Like there's no skip tracing because you completely cut that part out.
And you guys see, like when I do my 2-hour cold calling sessions, I'm usually always able to pull at least one deal out of there. So like I'm able to be very efficient with my time. If I spent 2 hours doing bandit signs, I might not get a deal from that, right? I might have to do 3 or 4 of those. So I love the Zillow for sale by owners.
The next one is just SMS texting. What I like about it is extremely scalable. And if you're an independent operator like I was when I started out, this is highly efficient because it doesn't require like a real staff. You can send messages, and then here's the cool part is you get to return them based on your timetable. I wouldn't wait too long, but it's extremely efficient. And people like on the go that don't have a lot of time, it is a very scalable way to do wholesaling. The next one is hiring a VA to do cold calling. You got to be careful here. You're going to have to find a reputable VA that has experience cold calling, and you're going to have to learn how to manage them quickly, and you're going to have to learn how to manage the data. And if you can do that, then you can utilize their time so you can be doing your work, so you can work on that transition piece, but be very careful with it. You've got to understand how to look at the numbers with them. Another great way is just doing the paid list we always talk about. List REI, ZachData.com, pulling out, you get the zombie properties, you get the vacant properties, you get the high equities. You can go after liens, you can go after HOAs. Guys, it is endless with the possibilities you can do with that. You can do virtual driving for dollars. It's an incredible ability to go on the computer and be able to look on there and just like find properties. I never thought in the wildest imagination you could do something like this. So if you guys want to take advantage, just use dmzach.com. Like the last one, we've always forget to mention, is direct mail. For those of you that don't have a lot of time, if you go over to mailingmastery.com, we teach you how to do direct mail, our entire 25 years experience. And the beauty about direct mail, it is going to cost you some money, but look at it as an investment because those people call you and then you can control your time when you go out on appointments, when you talk to them. The key is here, just make sure you get somebody answering the phone live. So if you're tied up at work outside of weekends and nights, have someone you trust, maybe a family member or a business partner, to help you answer the phones, to let them know you really care about getting those leads so you don't miss any leads. Guys, these are all things that you can do when you're on a time constraint. I get it. A lot of us work full-time jobs. We have busy lives. We have kids, but there are ways that you can manage to leverage other people's time to help you get started in wholesaling real estate.
Exactly. So guys, if you want to start wholesaling real estate full time, right? Like you want to get out of your job, this is the way to do it. Guys, there's no shortcuts to getting successful. There's no shortcuts to talking to a seller. There's no shortcuts to this. You have to put in the work. There are easier ways and harder ways to do it. Guys, it's up to you which one you want to do. That's why I recommend you go to freewholesaling.com and learn all the ways to do it. Then you can make a self-educated and really a good self-guided decision on what to do. Remember, we got our live streams. We have our Q&As. We're here to help you out, but ultimately you got to decide for yourself. So be accountable, take action, and go after it. This is Zach signing out.
Rick signing out.
And if you guys got any value out of this video, do me a big favor. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe, and see you guys soon.
See you guys.